Hello. How you doing, Facebook fam? You know we're back in action again. Of course, we have a beautiful guest here. So, Mike, we're not just gonna go ahead and spill the beans just yet. We're gonna keep you in a little suspense. As we know, we're at another episode of B&W Show.
11.
Number 11. On say. If you don't know, I know a little bit about that. You know, just a little bit. I know about 6-7 words. That's all.
Don't listen to the teens.
That's right. Yeah, catch you when I'm drunk. I might know about 15, 20 words. That's another story. You know? So on my left, as you know, I got my main man AP. Once again, how you feeling there, man?
It's a beautiful day.
Beautiful day, always a beautiful time. And as I said, we have another beautiful guest here with us. And I do want to introduce Grandma VanDusen. So, Grandma VanDusen, do you want to say hello to the people?
Yes, I do. It's a privilege to say hello to you, good morning to you, and God bless you all.
Oh, as you know, we're on a Mother's Day weekend, so that's why we have a little special tribute as we wanted to sort of talk about a little family history today. So that's why we're fortunate to have been blessed by Grandma VanDusen today, and we're just going to basically talk a little bit about, family and things of that nature. So right now I'm going to go ahead and turn the mic over here to my man Pete. Here's the mic.
Thank you.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
So, like Val said, this is another special edition of the B&W show. We figured since the last show was a huge success, did you see the numbers on the show? It'd be like 500 and some odd people that it reached.
It's crazy.
So,
creepy.
After the huge success with our last episode, thanks to Brian W. Jenkins of Prescott Valley, we figured we had to go a little bit bigger. We had to do one that's more topical. So this is the mother of the episode, so to speak.
The mother of all episodes.
But in this case, actually, it's the grandmother of all episodes.
So we have the OG of the family.
Right. Dorothy Dottie VanDusen.
You got that?
Right. Otherwise known as Grandma.
That's right.
So, like I said, Grandma, we're going to talk to you with some personal stuff. Let me grab this around so I'm talking to you, not on paper.
Now, that's crazy because, we have grandma and grandson, so, it's like, I want to jump in, like a double dutch game, and you go and you just want to jump in and get it, but I got to be patient. I got to hold off. I got to wait.
So, culturally, we want to know where you grew up, and when you grew up, and then your thoughts on the world in the last 10, 12, 15 years. We're going to ask all sorts of questions. If anything makes you feel uncomfortable, you let us know. We'll pass over it. But we're more interested on the historical aspect of things and how you saw the world, how you're seeing the world now, and is it as bad as everybody's making it out to be?
Right. So now when we were talking, and if we could just start, because right now you're in Prescott, Arizona, correct?
Prescott Valley.
Prescott Valley, Arizona. So that's a little bit north of here. How many miles? 40, 50?
No, it's about 95 miles.
95 miles?
Yeah,
Okay.
it's an hour and a half drive.
Got it. So that's a little bit north of here. So originally, though, you're from
LA, California, near about 15 miles from Los Angeles Airport. In fact, about 2 blocks from the street that leads right up to the airport. In fact, little did I know it. 17 years later, when I was 17, 18, I was going to work there in that very place as North American aviation, and in the blueprint files, and everything was very, very coded, and you had to be signed in, and the blueprints had to be put in boxes where they went right to fire, and so it was an exciting time growing up there, and I had some very sweet, close friends, and that were friends forever, and a good friend down the street that he was just kind of like a really neat brother to me, and he had some problems growing up in his family, and it was kind of a sad thing, though, because I thought he was finally going to be happy. He found someone he thought he was going to marry, and that poor guy, he was on the ship and he bumped his knee, and he had to dying, you know. And at 18, I lost my very, very best friend, you know. And but anyhow, that was just kind of a sad thing. But I had very sweet parents, and I had an older brother that he was blind, and he was a year and 5 days older than I. And then I had a smaller brother, a younger brother that was 8 years younger than me, and he's alive now, and he's living in Anaheim, California, not too far from Disneyland.
Oh, Disneyland.
Yes.
Mm.
So can I ask you? So you were born in 1932.
1932, right.
So what's your earliest memory that you can go back to, like that's something that like really catches you?
My 3.5 is when we moved to my grandma's house because 3.5 my daddy died, and he left my mom with 2 children. My brother was blind, and myself. We moved in with my grandmother, and we had some beautiful times with her. And then my mama, about 2 years later, she remarried, and we moved into our home with our new dad, and who, you know, Aaron, and he was a beautiful father. He was the one that actually was in World War I, and had gotten out of World War I some years later, and he was wounded over in France, and he had some stories to share with us when we were old enough to hear them. Yeah, and he and my mother had bought a nice home that we visited often, and Aaron visited. And then
It was Gigi's house.
Gigi's
Really?
house.
Yeah,
Gigi's
grandma,
house.
Gigi.
Notice the theme is grandma. Notice grandmother. We're all going back to the place of originality in a sense.
Yeah,
you know?
Yeah, I
As
mean,
a grandmother.
right, I
I
moved
think
in
at
with
that
my
time,
grandmother.
I remember Uncle Don, I think it was Uncle Don's VW bus that had like the fake,
Yeah, the
brick-
VW
the
bus.
brick- the
Uncle
brick-
Warren.
was it Uncle Warren's bus?
Yeah,
Had the fake brick like wallpapering.
Yeah,
inside
we
of
had a
it.
VW bus too,
Yeah.
man. We had a lime green with a white top.
yeah.
Lime green.
Green was the
That's
color.
crazy, right? That's VW. They had a green and yellows.
Sometimes he still thinks about that. He says, "Oh, I wish I had it." But then I think about my car that I have now. He goes, "No, I don't need it again."
That's crazy. You still see them things. You might see one on a given day. You may just be like,
Right.
VW bus rolling by. You're like, it's 2018. They still, you know, it's amazing to see certain automobiles still out there rolling. But you know, it's the classics. That's what it is.
All right,
Yeah,
so
really.
being born and raised in Southern California, right? What was school like at the time? So you went from what 1937 to 1950, thereabouts, from kindergarten to high school.
High school,
What
right.
was the schools like at the time? Like, I mean, there wasn't. I don't
Right,
know, it was like the school shootings and all that stuff. That's different, but like,
Right.
what? You know, was
Because
it
at that time, was the segregation still?
You know, I wasn't aware of it, but you know, we had the only thing that I think that stood out in segregation. I think in high school, toward the end of high school, we had some. I can't remember what they're called, but some girls that had black hair, beautiful black hair, and their hair was real thick on top, and then it was found out that they had knives hidden in their hair.
Well, they put knives in the buns. So
Yeah.
just in case they
Yeah.
ever got. So did you
So
see?
they faced something that I did face.
Right.
Yeah.
That's interesting though. That you still you saw that though.
Yes.
You know.
Oh yes.
And
Well, Michelle saying hi to you, Grandma.
Hi, Michelle.
are you a Steelers fan too?
What?
A Steelers fan.
Pittsburgh
Yes.
Steelers.
That's
My
my
uncle,
son-in-law is,
Uncle John.
and my
He's a
and
Steelers.
my.
I don't know how he picked up Pittsburgh Steelers. He's an Angels and a Steelers fan. I don't know how. It's like so contrasting.
Hey, Grandma, you never didn't go to Pittsburgh. You Cali. I mean, 49ers.
Of course, Because at the time she had,
The Rams?
yeah, she had like the Rams. And
Raiders?
Oh, yeah, Rams, Rams, definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
my grandfather was a Rams fan.
I just
there you go.
I-
It's a Rams fan
I
for the
just
day
gave
now. Yeah.
Aaron, my husband's Ram shirt.
Yeah.
His
Oh,
grandfather's
okay.
Ram shirt.
Well, the first professional football game I went to, I actually took my grandfather. We called him Poppy.
Yeah.
I took him to the Cardinals St. Louis Rams game,
Awesome.
and actually I bought him a St. Louis Rams T-shirt for the game.
That's what's up.
But lo and behold, because they weren't LA, he wasn't a fan of them anymore. So he was rooting for the Cardinals. So
Right.
so now we have this St. Louis Rams T-shirt that's just floating around in our possession.
Right. No, but that's crazy. It's interesting how things evolve or certain family traditions may start in a sense. But I really found it interesting when what you told me about like you never had that experience that your black students had at the time of the school.
Yeah.
Did you see a lot of tension in your school during high school? Was there a lot of racial tension?
No, not at all. Everybody I knew always got along, and then we had, lots of dances and that. And even, when I was a little bit older and went to Palladium, went to dances at the Palladium near the beach, it was very nice, and everybody did their thing and danced and had fun. And went home, I saw Harry James and Donald O'Connor
Oh,
at
okay.
the Palladium, and Harry James has pretty brassy music, but my husband and I liked, and we were in 8th grade, or grew up from the 8th grade.
There might be a couple of music assignments for us. We gotta check those out.
Yeah, we probably have to go back to the class.
We're gonna check those two out.
Right.
We'll let you know on the next show.
Right.
Okay, I should have brought the CDs.
Right.
That's all
I
right.
have Ben Miller, and I have the Platters.
Of course.
Yeah, of course. And I got one by Ernie Hopper did a deal in Lake Havasu in the where's the casino? One of the casinos across the way.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he did one that night, and when he sang the song and ended up, when I clapped, I put my hands way up above everybody,
Right.
and I pointed up, and he told me when I went to, and he signed my thing, and he told me, he says, when I started this out, he said, I felt really low, and everything, and he says, about halfway through, he said, I started to pick up really, really good. And he says, I was praying for you. He goes, that's what it was.
And not to mention, she said, again, pick up. She said she was at the beach, and she said around 8th grade.
So, to go with that as well,
8th grade at the
so
beach.
being in LA,
parties.
you were in school, again, so you're in school 37 through 50, which was the extent of World War II, which was like, what, 42 to 45?
Yeah.
So, what was the scare and impact Pearl Harbor of that time that, like, you remember, like, because like with 9/11, obviously
Right.
New York's a bit
Right.
different now than it was
Right.
before then. So
Exactly.
Like the backlash was, all of a sudden 9/11, everybody from the Middle East, we had a problem with and they were already within our community.
Right.
And it was such a tragedy because it was, Aaron, I see you, I don't like you.
right, and now we're supposed to hate the Muslims, even though
Right.
yes, they were Muslim, but they were Muslim extremists,
Correct. Which
right? Like
That's a difference.
there's right,
totally different.
like there's Christians and there's Christians extremists. If you don't believe that, look up Waco, look up Timothy McVeigh. Look
yes.
up the Crusades.
There was a couple.
So
It's not all just
Yeah.
black and white,
that's
baby.
right.
There
It's
was
a
a
show.
couple in our church after we moved to Arizona that somebody was he poisoned everybody, and himself included, and they escaped out of there. And then when they came to Arizona to our church, they told us about it, and they said, we would have been dead by now.
Yep.
If we had gone along with
Jonestown,
them.
another good example, Jonestown,
God,
Christian
yeah,
extremists.
they were just,
Yeah.
the Lord just told them to get out of there.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So and it's so during that time, did you witness a backlash against Asians in the community during?
Oh, during World War I, we had the Japanese concentration camps 2 blocks from our house.
World
And
War
then like
II.
Right.
yeah, Western Avenue is the longest avenue in LA. If you know LA at all. It goes all the way to the beach, all the way, I don't know how far.
Now notice she said
East.
that concentration camps. Yes. Those that lack American history, please understand Germany was not the only one to have some camps.
Right. Granted, ours was probably ran a
The
bit
intent-
more humanely.
Right.
Probably not a whole lot. I mean,
Right.
to the nth degree,
Right.
but you know, like
Right,
we
because
weren't gassing them. We were holding
was
them
feeding
as
them.
right. We
Probably gave some cots.
hold them aside and saying, we want to make sure you're not in here to stab our backs.
Right.
But still a concentration camp.
It's still a concentration camp. But just the whole world, just concentrate. You just want to take this one mass and just concentrate them all right here, just to observe them like the sardines in the
Right.
can.
You just felt so sorry for them because they were just like you, and they, they were bound up. But also it was along next to the street that led to LAX airport where they had.
So when you walk,
And then they had tanks and everything, and I guess I must have seen an artillery gun because I remember having dreams after that I was shooting down enemy planes for a long time until I went to work for the phone company, and then I had to catch the last bus coming home, or I was stranded in way East LA on this highway, no way to get home. Because my dad worked at night, so we had one car. He couldn't come get me. And then, so that was the next time.
So
a
imagine that
scary
time. So what time of the night was that?
11 o'clock.
11 o'clock. So
That's
11
late
o'clock
back then.
in LA,
Right.
buses didn't run.
right? It's crazy to think that 11 o'clock is late.
Right.
When at one time it was late.
It was late.
At one time when the sun went down, that's late.
Right.
It's dark. There's no electricity. There's no lights. That's late. It's time to lay it down. So it's interesting. But what I wanted to ask you, when you walk by those concentration camps, because it's one.
Whole new selling point.
Oh, that's
They're gonna
crazy.
be on Dr. Pepper commercials for sure.
I'm trying to. They need a new spokesmodel.
That's right.
I'm just not sweet.
You both come on the Dr. Pepper commercial and you both take this nice big drink together. Oh, that is good. It works. I gotta go.
Right.
You put the newspaper around.
Right. You grab a newspaper, I grab the ESPN magazine. Alright. Or newspaper, I got the phone. You gotta figure nowadays it's all tablets.
Right.
You know, I'm going to the bathroom and get a tablet right quick. For sure. So, oh man, so
You wanted a different show. I'm sorry.
that's great.
Yeah, that's great.
That's all right. You feel right.
Yeah. That's right.
Grandma's coming back now. She's coming back.
It's something I don't miss as a child. And during the war, we had rationing, and you had to have stamps,
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah.
and you had to, use your stamps to get things. But then I found out, my friend, after it was all over in high school, that they knew nothing about. I mean, they had all the meat because her dad was a butcher.
Right.
And they weren't rationed in the meat. And then other people, they were,
Yeah, heck yeah, you're in the business, you
Right.
take your
They were
cut.
rationed.
That cow's going home.
That's right. One for you.
Right.
Yeah.
Two for you, one, two for me.
Wow.
Three for you, one,
Yeah,
two,
we go
three
to the
for
store
me.
and buy oranges, and my
That's
friend
right.
worked there, and she put in 2 more oranges.
How long was
Because it was
the,
so much a dozen.
that, I remember that was the, at one point they were talking about, America's food storage. Food storage, was in peril. And that's what the rationing, how long did that last for?
I don't think too long. Yeah, and we had to save our aluminum foil and make aluminum balls out of them, and, turn them, they had places you could turn them in.
Hence the starting of recycling.
Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah, World War II was the start of recycling.
Yeah.
That's why there was less metal
You got your
things
aluminum cans.
at the time.
They didn't then.
So actually, when you find metal objects from the 40s, 30s through 40s, they're actually more valuable now
Mm-hmm.
because of the scarcity of metal that
Right, mineral.
that was not used. Well, not so much the mineral, but the metal not being used towards the war efforts. It was actually, if it was used to consumer goods, or the consumer product turned in to become war use. So if you find stuff like iron pots or skillets and that kind of stuff from that era, they're actually of an antique value because of their scarcity.
That's pretty dope.
Yeah, aluminum cans from the time, even soup cans, or I don't know if you'll be able to identify a soup can from that time, but like anything metal of that era that's not war related. I mean, war related is always going to have a value just because it's war. But anything not war related that's metal from that era, toys,
Right.
anything, it's going to have a more antique value to it.
So, Grandma, because knowing how products move, foods and merchandising has evolved because of technology, is there something that you used to eat and then at one point you just noticed it doesn't taste the same no more?
Let's see. Well, I can sure see the difference in lettuce now, then and now. Let's see, the quality or something, it changes, I think, after you have to let the earth rest every 7 years.
Right.
And if they don't, then you get that product and it's not as good.
So you say the lettuce is
Or
less.
anything that,
Less, I want to say, is real brittle or thin, braille.
yeah.
Flop, so is the
Yeah,
lettuce
it's
more
more-
crunchier and stiffer?
Yeah, like in our yard, how,
So the vegetables, you
yeah,
see a
we're
change
growing
in
lettuce
vegetables?
in our yard now, and it's just so beautiful and firm. Aaron put some in some ice water and got it all really cleaned up good, and, I mean, forget lettuce now in the store.
Really? Yeah, because that's one thing me and my wife was talking about is our own garden. Well, E. coli on lettuce, man?
Yeah.
Come on, I just showed you how many people, if it's not pesticides and things that we're spraying, how many people are literally not washing their hands and then going back to work?
Well, and it's, yeah, I mean, and some of that, as far as the like the E. coli from the stores, is because they're using fertilizer.
Right,
So
I was
fertilizer
gonna say,
is
fertilizer, rodents,
right.
just
So,
wildlife.
so I mean, and that's I'm not gonna say organic is the way to go because you still have to fertilize the earth.
Right.
Because that's all the difference between organic and inorganic is fertilizing of the soil. But if something poops on the ground, like animals, dogs, wild animals, the ground's been fertilized. That's naturally how it occurs. So there's not truly anything
That manure
organic,
process.
right? But the way farms are used now, they're obviously speeding up the process of fertilizing the ground by by spraying down the manure.
You see it out here. You see how they turn over these crops?
Yeah.
You know, it's back to back to back to back to back.
But you can do it though naturally if you grow the correct combination of vegetation back to back. Because there's some vegetation when they grow and produce, they give back to the soil, and there's some that grow when they produce, they take from the soil. So if you take those opposing vegetation and you grow them back to back, then you're going to continue to balance out your soil. That's why you actually see a lot of people grow corn and then cotton, because corn and cotton do that. They'll grow, especially out here in Arizona, it's good for that. So the corn gives to the soil and the cotton takes away, and then they'll turn and put corn and it gives back to the soil and it takes it away. So they don't fertilize as much out here as they have to. They do the irrigation water because we live in the desert. But the fertilization is not as big of a thing out here because of the way it's grown. The cotton, corn, cotton, and it refertilizes the ground naturally through the production of the corn.
You know, it's crazy because one thing that I was just thinking over times and times changing. One of my things is like this Girl Scout cookies.
Yeah.
If you notice, I used to get Girl Scout cookies used to give you 5 rolls, and it'd be like 6 cookies in each roll, 6 to 8 cookies. I don't remember. Now you get Girl Scout cookies, give you 4 flimsy rolls.
Right.
Almost caught me out. 4 flimsy rolls.
And they're like this far apart from one another.
And they're like 4 cookies in a small mini box, and I'm like, what the heezy are y'all serving me, man? It's
they cost 5 times as much as they have.
And I'm like, girl, and then you're bugging because I love Samoas, but I know Girl Scouts used to have like the strawberry cookie.
Yeah.
They don't even do that no more, man. It's been like 10, 15 years, still can't get those, man. And I'm just like, that's one thing I hate is like your product that you love and it changes.
Right.
Yeah.
And it's just, they shrink it up because of cost value and officiating and stuff, or they just change
there's just too many people at the top that's taking too big a cut.
Right.
Not that I'm against capitalism. I'm all about capitalism, but I'm also for producing for the right of the people.
And give my extra Girl Scout cookie per roll back.
So going along with the technology then, so with Lavelle and I, our generation, because of the Back to the Future movies, we were promised the flying cars by 2015.
I want a skateboard. I don't know.
And the hoverboard.
I think that's gonna come first.
The self drying coat.
Yeah.
You remember those? The self drying coat.
I probably burned up a couple people.
Well, in the 70s, my husband and his friends were talking about a flying bus. And they even showed,
closest to that would be a
they showed
do you remember where they got that from?
The hovercraft over water.
Do you remember where they got that from? Like why a flying bus? Is that like something from the time?
Because of
Leonardo da Vinci.
Well, because of having people in the air in this flying bus, and then setting them on the ground and letting them go as a bus, and somehow trying to figure out how to get the wings in, or what, I don't know what they were doing, but they were some way they were
So those are
What
just,
did they put the
so
people
it was just the
on
guys
there?
around, sitting around a campfire talking type deal, then that's all they were doing?
No, with his friend Poppy's,
Oh.
they were, you know, and it
think
could have
of
been
Mary.
their wild imagination, but, you know.
That concept is it's funny because the flying bus. Well, look at the Harrier.
Right,
If you combine those two in concept, you can have your flying bus.
see?
My big thing is us was teleportation.
Yeah.
You see, we
Star
always
Trek.
because you got Star Trek, and it's been in movies
Yeah,
since the '60s. Even The Fly,
right,
teleportation.
yeah.
You know, we have this fascination of in a blink we're here and now we're there.
Mhm.
You know, we tried it. The closest thing we got to was Mach 2 with the Concorde.
Mhm.
We're still searching for teleportation. We're looking for that next giving.
Gotta
You
get
know,
places faster.
right now. Then the question comes, well, you know, they've been doing experimenting with this since way back in the day. The Navy does certain experimentation. So,
Right.
is it close? Do you think we really have it with the military? Do you think the military actually?
You never know, because you know cell phones nowadays, they're
Yeah,
actually using a version of the cell phone
Mm-hmm.
during the Korean War.
Yeah,
See, and we had satellite phones forever.
Yeah,
We've had sat phones.
yeah,
The military been on that. We had it, they was using internet before we even. Hey, what's this?
yeah.
Oh, Gore, is this what you invented?
Yeah.
This what you was working on? No, you see.
Yeah,
So it's crazy.
yeah. Internet's been around since the
yeah,
50s.
yeah,
yeah.
right.
That's what
Right.
airlines were using to book reservations and that kind of stuff. It was an internet or a form thereof.
Yep.
You know,
Base.
granted, it was more, bio and stuff, but,
2-bit,
you know,
and they have to wait, and then they get confirmation, but
right.
it's
It was there.
it was there. The concept is there,
Right.
and I really think, are we that far off from it? Really? No.
Nope.
Because if you really take certain things like the advancements of prosthetics,
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
just look at prosthetics and how far we are.
And that's why I think the futuristic technology we should be working on, that nobody ever talks about, is the one-man forklift suit from Aliens that Sigourney Weaver used to kick the aliens' butt.
But this is my question. Do you not think, for instance, Honda already has their own version? Because
Well-
they are working on bio-robotic metrics.
Right, but it's not
You know?
really there yet. I mean, this is something that can actually be.
True,
We
but that's-
have the technology now with hydraulics and computer offsetting and that kind of stuff to actually make and design that suit to make it feasible to have on a regular basis.
That's why I think prosthetics. Like you say, is there a $6 million man out there? No, but there's probably a $2 million man out there. I guarantee you, right now, there's already a human walking around with they had a accident
Uh-huh.
and they got a robotic arm or leg, knee or something, and it is amped, and they're doing military type stuff. You know, I'm telling you, there's that one person already out there. I bet you.
Yeah, they can put
Like
you,
they're
they
out
can
there.
put you in a walking suit.
Mm-hmm.
Put you in a walking suit, and here you are, and that suit is walking you all over the place.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That's in existence right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I believe that. I
Yeah.
really do believe we do already have that with robotics. Because when you look at our animation, how we take green screen animation and with the suit and all the bubbles, if you layer that, you're there.
Right.
Yeah.
If you take it down to the base scale, oh, this is us, and we're that robot, you know, on the film. But no, you layer that, we really have it. I really believe we have it, and
That's all kinds of
you
money.
know, we
in
won't
that.
see it because if you look at the video games, if you look, how much of things do we see in video games that's already out here in real life that the military is using?
Right.
That
For sure.
already using.
For sure.
You know, I really believe we're just is not gonna. Right now, there's probably 50 people that know, but in 5 years, oh, the whole world will now be introduced to this, but then it'll be like, oh yeah, we have prototype X,
Yeah.
what's going on in
Yeah.
2018, and we've finalized this, here it is 2024, and this is the standard. You're like, yeah, like the invisible camel suits they're trying to make.
Yeah.
They're
With
already
ultimate
made, and
visibility.
they have they're billions of little mirrors.
Yeah.
And they just reflect all the way around 360. So I'm sitting here right by you, but you can't even see me because it just looks like the wall or whatnot. Like that's real. Like it's already invented, and I'm like, oh my god, that's dope. When I saw that suit, I was like, yo, you. It was broad daylight, and they were snipers. It was broad daylight, and I was like, you can't even see that, dude.
Right.
If you really focus, you can see a blurry thing, but if you're just looking at a glance,
Right.
you can't even see that, dude.
It's just a head floating across the room.
Yeah, I was like, man, you just see this red beam coming from somewhere. You're like, what the? Oh no, oh man. I mean, so I think for us, I think our big thing, I think teleportation. We're on the cusp of some great things. But if you look at not even America, I really think if you look outside of America and you look at Singapore, what they're doing and their technology advancement, and if you really look at Dubai is trying to cool the city down.
Right.
That is hot in Dubai.
Sure.
What, 120 on average?
Sure.
Middle
of the desert.
I mean, I still don't understand what makes Dubai. But I mean, they're so
Las Vegas.
rich, but when you got that much money, we trying to work on cooling the city, not a house,
Right.
not a school, the city.
Right.
I mean, what does technology advancement tell you right there with that statement?
Mm-hmm.
Just that statement alone, and you're like, it's crazy, man. Don't forget, we got a space station up there, 250 miles from the Earth. We got a space station up there.
Well, I mean, that would be great, except for when you're sitting there at the bus and you're reading your newspaper, all of a sudden it's all, somebody turned the city fan on high, can somebody turn it down, turn the city fan down, why can't
Well, it feels that way sometimes.
It's crazy,
And
man.
around our house, it's just as still as anything, and you walk in the pub down the street, and all of a sudden, neither one of you can hardly move back home.
Oh, man,
Oh.
it's just,
It goes from 5, and then you get this gust of 25, and,
it's crazy. So
because that's when the city fan goes on. The earth fan goes on.
That was, I know we're like just chilling here today.
Yeah, wow.
But now we're going to Prescott. What was the decision to go from LA, Anaheim, and leave the great city of Anaheim to Prescott, Arizona?
And my husband just wanted to come up here and go on a different police department. He was on Anaheim and went off of there and went into bail bonds for a while. That wasn't satisfying, I think that maybe Walt Disney might have passed away around in there, and then we just came to Arizona. We started in Bullhead City.
Okay.
And where we didn't want to cook, our bodies all the time. Well, I'm telling you, it's so sad there because in the summer, I mean, it's so hot there, you just cook. But, I mean, one sunstroke's enough. I decided, no, I don't like this, I'm not gonna do it again. So we just made the rounds. He had a buddy living in Bullhead City, and buddy or no, forget it. I mean, they had a an indoor swimming pool, if you don't mind, and no wonder, and we weren't going to probably go that way. He was on the Anaheim PD with my husband, with Poppy. And so then we made the rounds, and we went to Flagstaff, and I said, no, we don't want to slip and slide everywhere we go. And so we came down, and then to Prescott Valley. It has the four seasons, but they're very light and mild. You know, even the turning of trees, it is so beautiful. Probably not as like in North Carolina, but still, it's a taste of it. And we said the way we know if we're going to stay here, the first we came to visit first, we came in and to Prescott and we found this little church. And so we went into this church and we really, really liked it. And the people, the pastor and his wife were from California, he was one of the under pastors at Melodyland.
Oh.
And so there was boom. This is and they were so thankful to have friends. He said because he had, you know, you didn't make any money as a pastor. That was just something that was on your heart, and God put you there. So he had to have a job. So he got a job delivering to different stores and including liquor into bars. And so everybody started calling him an alcoholic. You know how people are.
Right.
You know?
Right. So small town. How big was the town when you were outside?
Well, you know, gee whiz. Very little. Prescott Valley was twice as much because where we moved, where we live now, it was nothing but it rained and there was somebody, and my husband got a call because he went on the sheriff's department, couldn't get out of the driveway because it was so muddy. And so we were the first ones to have a street and paved streets up and down so that he could get out to do, they got called. And so
that's what it means to be a cop.
Get your streets paved first.
Right.
yeah.
But then I'm also thinking Prescott now is not a big town.
Yeah.
What's the population?
It's probably
Is it under
yeah, it's like 65 to 90.
65 to 90?
We moved from LA to Anaheim
Right.
and it tripled in every 5 years it tripled. So we moved to Prescott Valley and it tripled every 5 years. I said, you can tell where we moved by the population.
It's like population boom.
Yeah, that's because there was nobody coming down our street. Well, now it's almost like 69, isn't it?
Yeah.
Which is a highway, and it's a Sunset Street where you know, lucky if you can get out to see the sunset without the cars whizzing by it.
Sorry.
Yeah.
According to this is Prescott now.
Right.
So Prescott's the bigger city. Where we live is Prescott Valley, which is about 12 miles to the east.
The whole population?
No. So this is the population of the city of Prescott as of 2010 was 39,843.
39,000. Wow. But that sounds about right, man.
Yeah.
Because remember when I went and that was one thing I said. I said, "My, it's so small. You know, the town was so small, but it's a beautiful town.
Yeah.
It's a very serene town. You can go up and relax, do some fishing. You
know. So this is Prescott Valley. So as of population October 2016 in the town of Prescott Valley. So this is the smaller town, say into the south, southwest, east, southeast. 6 years later, there's 45,500.
So you have more people in Prescott Valley than Prescott.
No, this is 6 years later.
Oh, 6 years later. Okay, 45.
But they're still building in Prescott because we have neighbors of our friends and Aunt Lady and Uncle John. They're next door neighbors. Their sons. They both came up here to build homes and. Yeah,
they got a population. But what businesses? What's the? It's still farming up there.
No,
right?
there's
the cattle or what?
No. That's there's a little bit on that, but that's more on the ranching side. It's just people leasing out their land to cattle ranchers and stuff.
Cattle.
But like I guess the big industry up there is real estate and doctors. A lot of those there. But for like the common folk, there's some industrial. There's like a window manufacturer. Used to be called Betterbilt. Now it's Metals Inc. or something like that. And then Ruger, the handgun company, is up there.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. And then I think those are the two bigger.
So tell me with the doctors, why so many doctors up there?
I don't know. Prescott's a big retirement community, so a lot of older folks, a lot of need for doctors. So not retired doctors. They're active doctors because of the number of older folks that are,
That many?
Yeah, it's a in the early 2000s, Prescott was actually ranked in the top 10 retirement communities to live in above the full state of Florida. It was Prescott and then Florida. I don't know where it's at nowadays, but I know it was not long ago that Prescott was ranked higher than the state of Florida as a retirement community.
Right.
Which said a lot.
Right. Definitely. Okay.
And it's not so much because of the number of retirees, but it was like the conditional living and stuff.
Gotcha.
So,
Oh.
and now it's become more. Prescott Valley is more the family community.
We moved there in 1976, and we didn't actually get in our house till almost 78.
Did you have it built?
No, it was in existence. It was just, it took a while. And so we moved into a mobile home out back in Prescott Valley with our dog. And what they told us at our church is, you're just going to get so bored with nothing to do when you move to Prescott Valley. We weren't there a full week and we had a knock on the door. Insurance salesman. And then we moved there, and then 4th of July was coming up, and they were going to have a big Christian conference up there in the old Prescott College, where they just up and left it. So we had to go in and clean everything, and literally had to throw everything, all the books in the library out.
Prescott College was a big hippie college.
Yeah, and it was nothing you wanted to pass on to anybody else.
Really?
So we had to clean it up. I mean, hairpins, old razors and socks, and you name it, they just walked off. So I had to clean it, and then we had to paint it up, and they had a nice big auditorium, and so we had to do that. And then we got all painted and everything. In fact, Poppy had the time at that time, and they called him Brothers of the Brush, and so the brush, and so because he had more time than the others at that time. And anyway, so we did that. I mean, for them and our church in California say, you won't have anything to do. You will be so bored. And yeah, come over here and help us be bored so we can put you to work. And then so it was, and then it was a terrific time. And we had a young man said that he was supposed to meet a group of 10,000 was supposed to come to Prescott Valley. Well, they were the wrong group that we wanted to come there. Because they were, they would have just taken over the land in a bad way. And so we prayed, Lord, if it's not your will, don't let him come. And so he came, he got the word from in Hawaii, and he came over here. And we met him at the first night, and we invited him home with us because our mobile home, we had three bedrooms, so we invited him home to stay with us, and anyways, he said, he said what a beautiful time he had, and he left us a a bag of beans. That was his gift to us for our accommodations and for treating and being, he appreciated so much, you know, us taking him in, and we took him off to where he could catch a ride to get to where he needed. I don't know how far to go, so I can catch a ride from here. And that was a wonderful, wonderful time that we had when we first moved there, so. And we met our very best friends, you know, there, and he's the man that actually sold us the house. And then they became our very good friends, and then we had Bible study at their home. And in fact, they just, they're at the age of retirement. He finally retired because they're such strong people and everything. But and then when I was working from the Christian school, teaching in the Christian school, they were accommodation kindergarten and first graders. And I only had 5 of them, so they were nothing but a joy to me. And we had and the pastor study was right next to us, and every morning they would want to sing their favorite songs, you know. And he said that just helped started his day off beautifully for him, you know, such a positive day. And but anyways, he was one of those Reader's Digest preachers. He said it, and if you can't get it in 10 minutes, nobody can explain it to you. And we were glad of that, because and I guess I was a Reader's Digest version of wanting to hear something, and so was Poppy. You know, he was that way too. That's the way he wrote his police reports, and the police chief of Anaheim said, they came to Anaheim and we got to talk to him and everything. And he said, you were my favorite officer. He said, and your reports were like, you said it, and you didn't, you know, no beating around and no unimportant things in it. But he said they appreciated his reports.
So, Prescott's established, and you get into the community. Then we have the family. So, what was the thing that you said you wanted, you know, your family, you know, what would you say, things or lessons or tips or not you wanted to pass down and make sure you had? Is there anything you wanted to make sure that, you know, the family would do, you know, if it was always giving back to the community, always keep, you know, God close, prayer close.
Yes.
Did you have
keeping God, you know, first in your life, and then, you know, follow His leading, of course, and then, you know, give out to the community. I always seem to make friends with somebody that needed like a daily help in their home and things like that, to get them back on their feet. Maybe one friend had knee surgery and she needed for me to go to Star for her. And her husband wasn't able to. He was in the VA with Poppy, and he was home, you know, trying to keep from getting pneumonia. And so I would do their grocery shopping, and then he eventually passed. And then I took care of her, took her to the store. And there was,
AutoZone, I think I've seen it a few times.
yeah, it's
So-
good. And then he went into that business when we came back, and for a while, we rented my friend's mobile home, her mother's mobile home that they had gotten for her, but she was needed to be watched over, and so they brought her home with them. And so we moved into the home, and in exchange for the rent, I went over to her house and took care of her mama while she went to work. And her husband he was a World War II retired veteran, and we have a picture of him that he's marching beside the dead bodies, with his hands clenched, because he hated death so bad, people killing each other so bad. You can see his hands just clenched walking, you can just see him, and so, he would be home a lot sometimes, or he'd be off, or he had a lot of things, projects that he had going in his garage. Always they were working in his garage after they moved out of Blue Hill. And then when he passed, he left a yellow station wagon. Fleetwood.
I don't remember.
I don't know, but you see it, because James still drives it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he says, I can't stand this car, I'm not gonna drive it. Do you know anybody that can use it? Can you use it? I said, well, I know. I said, I know where it can go, for somebody that will know how to keep it running and take care of it and can handle it. And she said, okay, it's yours, so we gave it to James. We gave away a lot of cars, because when we lived, our kiddos were growing up, there was a fellow his father sent him to America to Bible college, because he became a Christian, and he would have had to kill him or let him be killed. So he gave him money and sent him to a Christian college in Biola, and we got acquainted with him at a Bible study close to our house, so we gave him. My mom got a new car, and she gave me hers, which we already had cars. So we gave that to him and took him home to Biola, and that became his prayer cabin. And he had that forever, and and then our other friend,
That's awesome.
another friend, Brother Yanni, he came over to visit us. Our pastor and his wife were missionaries too. He came from Nigeria, and they went over, and she had all kinds of suitcases that people gave her, so that she could go and get all kinds of clothes. And so they went over to Nigeria to Brother Ayeni is what we call him. And so she could take those clothes, and she came back with empty suitcases, so she could fill them up again, and they could take them back. And that's when Brother Ayeni, they arranged somehow for him to get a motorcycle or a scooter, and it shows him on the scooter. Well, then we sent him enough money to come to the United States, but that poor guy had to get off in New York, transfer in New York. I've never been there, airport, because I can't imagine how lost he must have felt.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then when he got on the flight and came home, and they went and picked him up at Phoenix. It had to be Phoenix, I'm sure, and brought him home. When they brought him home, he wouldn't let anybody leave him alone for anything for a while. And then their dog, they had a little doxy dog, Susie. And no matter if they had to replace the dog, it would be another doxy, and it would be Susie, no matter what, Never stopped having a Susie around. But anyways, the little dog came up and barked at him, and he goes, "In my country, we eat you."
That's funny. That is funny, but true. Well, funny.
And then Poppy took him and put him in a patrol car and took him down the 69th Street, and then over to the right. They had panned for gold and stuff like that. And another friend from California came over, and he didn't last too long though. But anyways, he took the Brother Yenny over to this gold mine and showed him this hole and with the ladder going down the hole, and he goes, somebody go down there? And Poppy said, not anymore, and he goes, not me, not me. There's nothing but black down there. You could not see.
Well, I see where you get it. The helping. Aaron helps. Your grandson has helped out a lot.
Yeah.
Not only me, I've seen him help others, and people that need, in times of need, many different ways. And I see, where he gets it is from you, and that's what to say.
And Poppy, he's the same way.
Our family,
and Lainey, she's over there taking care of him.
Yeah, our families are set by example by our kings and queens, our matriarchs. Our leaders, our grandmother and grandfather. They set the morality principles, standards of the family. And each generation is to live up. But things I've seen in your grandson, I see where they come. I've met moms. I see the kindness, and I see another aspect where he picks it up as far as the compassion and wanting to help out other people.
And Poppy and Terry have made such a difference in Art's life too.
Yeah, it's not promises. It's not. He doesn't promise like, oh, I'll take care of you. No. He just, if I have a hand and it'll help you lift this, move this, get to that place, and I have a hand and I want to help, Exactly. And that's one of the things, and that's one of the keys I appreciate a lot about my boy here. From day one. But that's a beautiful thing. As what I wanted to see is this dynamic.
It's okay if he has those colorful toenails?
No, it's not okay. But
that's coming soon. On those feet.
That's one of it's my boy though. And we know that I know why. And it just didn't even happen until marriage. So the wife has a whole bunch of stuff to do with the check.
For those of you out there that don't know, I do get my toenails painted on a regular basis.
Don't show them that chip one though.
Yeah,
don't show that.
Yeah. I got that one from your washing machine.
Oh, is that where?
I think so.
Right. When we put the pipes on backwards. I switched it.
Did you? Okay.
Because I was like, it's supposed to be all hot.
Yeah. You never know how they're set up. So you just gotta.
Hot and cold has never worked under the sheet,
Yeah.
But it was cool though.
Yeah.
It was cool.
Not to tell anything out of tell on anybody, but I have a bathroom faucet that's reversed too, and there's somebody out sitting outside did that for me. So,
yeah, right.
So now you understand.
Okay, yeah, so. But no, that's.
No, I'm kidding.
That's one of the things is the family, and have the people see where Aaron's beginnings come from is a beautiful thing too. It's sort of like it lets people see the end of the movie and then go back.
Yeah, right.
They watch it backwards to the beginning. So that's just glorious in its own.
It's so funny. If I have watched the movie and if I want to tell your mom about it, don't say anything about it. Most people are like that. Don't tell me about it.
Right.
But I can watch a movie and explain it from beginning to end to Aunt Lainey and she to me, and we go, oh yeah, this is what she said, and this is the part she told me, and like you're watching it together, even though you're hundreds of miles away. It just feels that way to me.
Now, is there something that you guys do or have that's just between you guys? Like, for example, my grandmother played the lotto, so she showed me how she works out her numbers and stuff, and I was like, grandmother, grandson thing, or sometimes we sit back, watch the Steve Harvey show, watch TV show.
He's good.
So, one of those things, like she loved the Mo Family Feud. So, is there something between you two that you guys like to do?
Yeah, we like to watch TV. I think we kind of like animal shows, so we kind of like the zoo, learning about.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Oh, Yeah, yeah.
Girl, we can sit back like
Oh.
this every channel.
Okay,
Yeah,
okay,
tell me.
okay,
Yeah.
okay.
You watch it
Are you gonna do it now?
I'm right with you on that one. I love it. Sundays, yeah, my wife be like, "Oh my God, what are you watching? Is that a lion? Is this African? Are you watching National Geographic?" Yeah, yeah.
And
Or
we watch the Bronx Zoo.
no,
Oh, that's really good.
I haven't caught that episode yet.
Oh,
I like the
that's-
documentaries. I have to
It's
check
good.
that
It's
one
good
out.
that-
Cable one is 1260.
The narrator goes, "Hey, yo, that's a lion right there. Hey, yo, that's a zebra."
Do you like Shark Week? You guys watch Shark Week?
I like watching Shark.
Now
Okay.
they had a special one with the migration
Oh.
of Africa,
Oh.
with the Great Migration, when they showed the migration, how the wildebeest would travel on their path, and they'll go through the different herds or the different lion prides, and it would show how the lions, the leopards, how they all, and hyenas, zebras, all that, but it would show how each pride would take over as they keep going through the various migration paths. So, and then it had multi cameras out there. So you got night hunts, morning hunts. Man, I mean, yeah, you catching some stuff, you know. So, yeah, keep an eye out because you know the migration is twice a year.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
definitely, they'll do it again when it comes up. It actually probably come up in a month or two. So I definitely say keep an eye on that. But you know, that's something
Yeah,
interesting.
Poppy was sitting on the front porch, and a mountain lion walked past her
Ooh,
gate.
ooh,
I know.
ooh.
And then,
Lock and load, baby.
and then when Alex was over from California, and her buddy, we were going to go out to dinner, and it was dark, getting just dark, and we stepped outside, and and Alex says, "What is that noise? You have any animals here?" And I said, I think you wild boar, the wild
Oh,
pigs.
Haven't
And
you?
there's some-
have it.
yeah, we might get them because we got the garden again.
Mm-hmm.
Them javelinas, and they'll eat a dog. They'll eat a small dog.
Oh, absolutely.
Only
Keep your dog. If it ain't a pit, run or
they're
something.
they're not aggressive.
Right.
It smells
They're
like
more
a skunk.
scavengers.
Right for a second, and then
Yeah, they have
it's
a musk to
different.
them
Yeah.
because they're not actually a pig.
Mm.
They're actually of the rodent/peccary family. So like a guinea pig
Got you.
family.
Cause
Yeah.
Yeah.
got you.
Mhm.
Definitely.
Yeah, a peccary. They're actually what they're a peccary, which is actually what an evolution of the guinea pig is peccary, but yeah, that's what they are.
We
They're
had a
actually
guinea
that,
pig, but he
they're
stayed.
not a pig actually. They're a rodent.
They're so cute. Guinea
So,
pigs.
That's why they don't taste very good when you eat them because they're rodent. That's
I never had.
So you could eat javelina because they're not pork.
But
I'm alright.
the only problem with that is they insist on the first bite.
Right.
Yes. Y'all done had a whole thing. It's,
Well,
you know
if
that
you
share
come
like not with me.
you
Y'all
come up
to
and
yourself.
take you up to the lake, then when you come outside, if it's night and it's dark and the restaurant is closing, the javelinas come up to get the corn, because the waitresses go out and toss it out. for them.
Oh.
Yeah, but some people eat outside, and one time a waitress came out because they were coming too early and people weren't there, and she goes, shoot, go on, it's not your time, get, and so they ran back.
No.
And, they did what she said.
Right.
And then they waited, and then the people left, and then she tossed, okay, you can come. She tossed it out, because we wanted to see them come and eat the cogs. They weren't going to eat us because they had the cogs.
Well,
Even if we did kind of run to the car.
I know I'll be up there because we're gonna actually do some hunting here.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, Aaron's gonna take me out with do some, well, not hunting, I should say target practice.
Yeah.
Oh,
Not hunting.
Can hunting.
Right.
Can hunting.
Yeah, can hunting. Might do some fishing though, Yeah, cause I got a watering hole up there. We
Yeah.
gonna sit down there. So
For sure.
that's definitely. So when we do, we'll have to definitely come back and see you when I'm up
Okay.
there in town.
Yeah.
For sure. So, but
The big rodeo's coming up.
right, the big rodeo.
July 4th.
So
Right today, now, you don't want to be there because the parade's going on.
well, July 4th, that's wifey territory.
Yeah, that's right.
All major holidays when you get married. The man in the household has
That's
no suggestions.
Absolutely, no say.
Memorial Day, what are we doing? Whatever you decide, dear. 4th of July, you know what I want to do? Whatever you decide, dear. Labor Day, that's my birthday. That's the only reason why I have a say-so on Labor Day weekend, because it literally is September 2nd, my birthday. I was born on Labor Day. That's the only one. Thanksgiving, thank God, I always do it with my family. I do it with my family. That's just like, that's my thing. So, you know, I do it. She say, hey, we split, okay, then your fam we'll go early in the morning first, but then at a certain time, we gotta be at the crib, because I need to sit down and I have to eat and I have to watch all the games. I can't be arriving at my family's house at 3 and that. No.
Yeah.
We're over there 12-1. All right, we settled. That's, you know. So, all the other stuff, you can't. Christmas, man has no say-so. New Year's, you may have some say-so, you know.
Right.
It's New Year's, so you bring it in.
And you got the game,
Yep.
New Year's Day.
Yep,
And
but
that's when Sharon's family, Sharon's mom and dad, they have an open house and they have everybody there. But you've got to get yourself in a corner because they talk and bet and talk about everything but about the game, but they don't watch it.
Right.
See, at our house,
Don't
Poppy
be religious.
Poppy wanted to sit in his chair and watch that game.
That's
We
right.
went over there one year and he goes, never again. What? Who won?
See, the volume be up. Volume don't be down. No, the volume be up at my house. We be up. We watch some games, and that's all we do. So it's
Yeah.
funny you say that, though.
That's better.
First, before we go on to our next, I understand because even I myself today have some things, but Grandma, I do want to thank you.
Oh, you're welcome.
For giving us
I
5
want to
minutes.
thank you
You know,
for letting me rattle on and on and on.
it's like I say, it's our pleasure. You know, for you to be with us today. You know, so at Grandma's, as you know, like me and him have one kindred thing is they're very dear to us in heart. So, and this is the history. This is where you sit back and get life. You know where you're from. Then you understand more about yourself. You know, even I understand more about Aaron just sitting here with today's talk. You know,
Good.
so definitely. But you did help us go into sports.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Now we all know. Shout out to. Did we even congratulate Villanova?
Yes, we did.
Okay.
Yeah, that's what we did.
Okay. Because I was just watching the replay. Well, I wasn't watching the whole game. Just a little snippet of the game, and that was a good game. And I want to tell them boys, good, nice job. But I want to say shout out to Cleveland Cavs, because I ain't gonna lie, man. I'm just gonna go PG because Grandma's here, but I'm gonna just say my booty cheeks was a little tight on that first series versus the Pacers, because there's no way Cleveland should have entertained 7 games with the Indiana Pacers in the first round. But they prevailed, and as you see, they got back on track and swept Toronto, or LeBronto Raptors, baby dinosaurs. So now we sit back and we go into the Celtics, which I think we're going to win that matchup because we won 2 out of 3 times playing with the Celtics, playing against the Celtics this year. So I'm looking for Cleveland to go to the finals again this year. However, I'm not looking for Cleveland to win the finals. And tell you the truth, I didn't think Cleveland was going to win the finals if we would have matched up against the 76ers.
Yeah.
For real, honestly. I just don't think that the supporting cast is giving enough to LeBron as needed. But, we'll see. Miracles do happen.
Sure.
Barack became president at one time in our life, so you never know. Just like gas is about to be $3 a gallon, which that goes definitely into me being very heated about that owning an SUV. But we're not going to talk about that. We're just going to go ahead and stick on sports, and I'm just going to say congrats on that. And I'm also going to say Cleveland Browns will be going 500 this year. Yes, I'm still a Browns man. I'm still a Browns man. I talk a lot of mess, but I'm a Browns man.
They did well in the draft.
Is it okay to be
They
a Browns
did.
man if I'm a Browns man?
Yeah.
Okay.
You're honorary. Anytime. Matter of fact, I'm going to get you a hat.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah, they did well in the draft.
And I will wear it every day.
Don't show Aaron, no.
Oh,
Do you think they picked the right quarterback at number one?
See, that's the thing, man. You know what? For me, I really wanted Darnold, and if
Yeah.
it wasn't Darnold, I wanted Josh Allen.
Right.
Baker, the only thing I see with the it factor with Baker will be the thing about he's very accurate and
Yep.
he doesn't throw a lot of interceptions.
Yeah, he's a good pocket passer.
He's a good pocket passer now.
Which Cleveland haven't had a good
No.
pocket passer since Bernie Kosar.
And if you really think about it, Red Robin, that's Mr. Cincinnati Bengals quarterback. He's not that tall, if I'm correct.
No.
Andy Dalton.
Yep.
So him not being that tall, when you turn around, we have a system. We have a QB in the system. My whole thing is that we got Tyrod Taylor, who's very conservative.
Yep.
So I don't see him going down the field
Yep.
long a lot at all. He's your guy. And everybody, Buffalo Bills wasn't throwing deep 70 yards. We got Josh Gordon and Landry. Josh Gordon.
Josh Gordon's coming back.
Come on, man. He burns the top off the defense, but we don't have a QB that's going to throw him 40 yards out there.
Yeah.
He's not going to do it, but
Well,
we'll see.
I say this year, watch out for the Rams.
Oh, yeah.
They
Oh,
just picked up Brandon Woods.
Oh, yeah. Oh, that
Brandon
thing
Woods, Cooks.
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
that's...
With they have
Yeah.
Woods, Robert Woods.
Yeah.
They have Todd Gurley.
Yeah.
They have Sammy Watkins,
Uh-huh.
and now Brandon Cooks.
Yeah.
Yeah,
They're
they're a threat.
Yeah.
They're an offensive threat.
Totally
You watch
agree.
out for the Rams this year.
Yeah. It's going to be
Back in
something.
LA.
It's going to, back in LA. You know, it's going to be something nice. It's going to be something nice. So, you know, we're going to see what's happening. Keep looking at it. And all I know is that August 9th, Cleveland's going to be playing their first preseason game. So I'll be looking at that for sure. Yeah, no doubt. So that's me. Now, Grandma, do you have a favorite football team?
Steelers. Sorry about that. I got a son-in-law and a grandson, Steeler.
No,
So
You
we're
know
going
Steeler?
no, man.
Who are you?
Buffalo Bills.
Buffalo Bills.
My,
Oh,
my
really?
wife is a Steelers fan.
Okay, I could say Cowboys. I can say Cowboys. JJ was this big when he got his first
Yeah.
Cowboy, and he went to the Cowboy.
Now you're on my good side. Okay, anything but them Steelers.
Yeah, he was this big when he had his shirt, and they took him to the Cowboys.
Training camp?
Yeah, training camp,
Yep.
and they took him to the game, and he goes, "Hey, they got my shirt."
Yep. That's all right. Both my brothers are Cowboys fans, so you know that where they say both. Yeah, my brother and my when you marry your sister in-law. Yeah, brother-in-law. So you know what I'm saying. Both of them Cowboys fans. So we'll go with that today. So you know, so we'll keep tab on that. But the more strangely thing I want to talk about here is our next topic, though. The music segment.
Yes,
Now,
music.
those know last show I had Hank Williams Jr. and Hank Williams Jr.
Yeah. Hank Williams Jr., and then Hank Williams III.
Okay.
If you got to the Hank Williams III. You had plenty of time this time, I don't know if you did.
I went backwards.
Okay.
I was on Hank Williams III and Hank Williams Jr.
Okay.
I didn't get Hank Williams.
Did you
I
get to him?
Ella Fitzgerald too.
No, let's talk about you like Ella Fitzgerald.
Yeah.
It's
Oh, in the still of the night.
Yes.
smooth, yes.
She really sings that, and you know,
I would like that
Andy
music
Williams,
assignment.
Andy Williams does too, but Andy Williams sings it really good, and Johnny Mathis sings it good. But Ella Fitzgerald, for me, sings it the best.
See, so your grandson assigned me Hank Williams collection to listen to, right?
Oh, okay.
But I'm gonna officially say that I like Hank Williams III more than all because he's so dark, and
Yeah.
I don't know why.
Yes.
Now, I also want to
I
know
agree.
the comment on this CD right here.
Yeah.
This CD misleads you when you first pop it in. For those of you that don't know what Hank Williams Jr. sounds like, I don't. you would think that you're expecting something for, are you ready for some football? Are you ready for some football?
Yeah.
Here on Monday night? Yeah, that's, hey, you know, it get me ready for some football. I'm like, yeah, crack that beer. Yeah, let's go, you know. So, the beginning of this is so slow. And I was like,
Right, because
this
that's the
ain't this
beginning.
dude.
That's when they were Nashville Records, the Curved record, and that were having him be the shadow of his father, who passed away when he was 3.
Okay, see, there's some similarities with
Yeah.
with both of these. And I'm gonna get to the third, but I haven't got to the third. But with both of these already, it's like it starts off and then it just switches.
Yep.
Like it's just, oh, okay,
Yep.
then it goes to some more upbeat
Yep.
songs, and then it switches again. Then it talks about, oh, I just love drinking and you know how he's drinking and his drugs. And then he's playing guitar all night long, and I'm like, okay, cool, got it, right? But wait, let me get back to the one point. The Hank Williams that you used to know and that you think with the football. Okay, if you listen to White Lightning
Yep.
and listen to the Monday night theme,
Uh-huh.
you will see that Hank Williams Jr. tweaked the Monday night theme. He took something, he sampled his White Lightning.
White Lightning's not even his song.
Oh well, whatever.
He's
He tweaked it to something real small in there, and the Monday night theme is in White Lightning.
Sure.
It comes from White Lightning somewhere somehow. He blended it.
Well, actually, so the Monday night theme is actually called "All My Rowdy Friends Are Coming Over Tonight." That's the original name of the song. The last song on this album, if you read what it says,
All my rowdy friends have settled down.
that's the continuation of the Monday night theme.
Okay. See, okay, because I picked that up. I was like, yo, White Lightning, let's go. Oh, and this Collegia.
Yeah. Elijah.
Yeah, dog. That's a different country
Yeah.
song, though. That's
Actually,
Elijah's cool
his
song.
dad actually did that song. That's one of his big hits. It's not on that greatest hits one, but I was hoping it was. You can hear the difference of his music versus his dad's music, you know.
Okay,
But
now.
if you get a chance, YouTube Hank Williams Kalijah.
Okay, now let's go to Hank Williams Jr. to his son, the third. Okay. His son and his papa. I can tell his son has been exposed to drugs early in his life.
Yeah.
And liquor early in his life.
Yeah.
Has his son ever been to rehab?
I am not sure. I don't know. I'm sure
used
they have
to.
because they've all gone
Yeah,
through
and
the whole.
and I question rehab because he
Yeah.
says he used to do the hard stuff,
Yeah.
but he don't do that no more.
Right.
You know, and I'm sitting here, and then okay, and not to mention, can we talk about the intro? The intro to that Straight Outta Hell.
Oh yeah.
The intro is so gothic. I thought
Yeah.
I was listening to a movie soundtrack beginning.
Uh,
It's like a scary ride,
Yeah.
and I like it.
Yeah.
I like it.
The eerie thing with Hank Williams III. So it makes it sound like he's like heavy metal gothic type deal, but he's very traditional Hank Williams sounding.
Yes.
So it has that. It's really.
Yes.
It makes it even more eerie because it's very. It's got the
And
fiddles.
the-
It's got
The
the.
fiddles.
It's got the steel guitar.
What's up with
It has
the
all the
fiddles?
sounds of traditional 40s, 50s country music.
And he cracks his voice even more than his dad.
Yeah.
He does. But what I want to know is why at one point, it sounds like at one point in his career, he talks about his country musicians, his other cold country musicians, how they turned their back on him about the direction. His son says the same thing, that current country music ain't nothing but bullshit.
Mhm.
That's what he's, I'm just doing the
Yeah.
clean version.
That's actually one of my favorite songs.
Bullshit.
I hate
Yeah.
the three.
You
I
know,
love that song.
so he says, so what is the thing with the country world against the Hank Williams? What happened?
Well, so again, so the Williams are, as you could say, like they're the first family of country music, almost like the Elvis Presley of
Really?
of
Okay.
Elvis, right? So they almost set this. Hank Williams was like the first mega star that really brought country music to light. I mean, there was other musicians, there was Ernest Tubb, there was Farron Young, there was, of course, Patsy Cline, and a few others. But Hank Williams is the one that really would sell out places, and his album sales were unique because he had this clean country boy look on stage. Off stage, he was an alcoholic. He was a drug abuser, and at the time, as much as the record people loved him, but because of his personality, they disliked him. So he's almost disowned by country music at the time because of who he was off stage. And nowadays, you can't listen to a song of any era and not have Hank Williams' name mentioned in it. So it's almost like they're how the NFL during this time hated LT, but now they consider him an icon legend.
Yeah.
It's that type deal, no, LT.
Because of what he did for the game and what he brought to the game,
right.
but also what he did to the game.
Right.
So
while LT was playing the game, NFL hated him because of who he was. But now that he's gone and done, now they're making money off of him as a legend.
Game's high.
Yeah, sure. And that's what Hank did. Hank almost started that. He would go on stage, blitz out of his mind.
Even Hank Williams said the same
Yes.
thing. He played for hours.
Yeah.
And just blitzed up and just.
Yep.
He must have put on a damn good show.
Yep. And that's what they did. And that's why the record companies couldn't turn him away because of the money that he was pulling
He
in.
was just turning.
But they hated him for it.
Right.
Right. Because you had all these other acts that were so, again, Farron Young, Ernest Tubb, which are all great artists in themselves. But they didn't. Yeah, they didn't have that pull that Hank Williams did. I think the only person close enough to even touch a Hank Williams would be Johnny Cash. And Johnny Cash, again, was one of those artists who was, let's out their mind. So at the time,
he was Black Sheep too. So they loved Black Sheep.
The record companies hated him.
Well,
until he retired.
Right.
Until he was no longer selling on the radio. But then they would push him as a country icon, and Johnny Cash was like, "You guys hated me. Why are you pushing me now? You guys hated me."
Controversy.
Right.
The human factor.
Bing Crosby, he was a saint to everybody, but he beat his children unmercifully.
Who doesn't do that?
One committed suicide.
Really?
Yeah, but then he remarried. He was single and remarried, and then he had other children, and he was a different person.
Did you ever hear anything about Rockefeller?
No.
Just curious because wasn't Rockefeller the one that the actor, very, very famous?
No, Rockefeller's a billionaire.
Oh,
Are you talking about Rock Hudson?
No, I want to say Rock.
Okay, we'll
This
keep going.
gentleman that was gay.
Rock Hudson.
But professionally
on screen,
he was a
huge leading man.
Right.
Yep.
Rock Hudson.
Rock Hudson.
Okay. And that was during the black and white film era.
Oh yeah, he started it and got into
But
Rock Hudson.
he died delivered from being gay. At the very last.
Right, so Rock Hudson was there news about Rock Hudson's career during that time?
Yeah, during his, well, toward the end. Yeah, but then I don't know how we found out or who knew, but we learned that at the end he died not gay.
Right.
He was delivered from that.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah, that's
Just like Uncle John's brother Ron.
Yeah.
He was delivered too. I mean, he found out. What turned him that right, thinking that lifestyle was about him, was a Catholic priest.
That's funny.
And then when he was delivered, he talked to
Preach.
Wayne and John's
Preachers.
pastor, and he led him to the Lord, and he died not gay. he just, you know, he wanted to just go after that priest and just, you know, he really, but the pastor said you can't do that, you have to forgive him, because you can't go into heaven not forgiving.
There's so much down on sexuality.
You won't be forgiven if you don't forgive, so you can't go into heaven.
There's actually a good precursor for next month, because it's LGBT Pride Month. And actually I'm in contact with a couple people to come on the show to talk about their lifestyle, so I'm excited about that and to learn, you know, what's, you know, their triggers, I guess, so to speak.
Right. So, yes, that was my Hank Williams thing.
Yeah.
Although you guys already got the precursor to our next show, will be the LGBT edition of that one. But so that was your music.
Yeah. So my music, I was given Kanye West, and since I gave him 2.5, 3 CDs to listen to, he gave me 2 CDs to listen to as well, 2 albums to listen to. So I listened to a dark black fantasy and Jesus. So I listened to those fairly intentionally many times. I started off, I went chronological. So dark black fantasy, I listened to, well.
Which one was better? Which one you like better?
I honestly, I like Jesus better.
Well, Jesus is crazy, huh?
Yeah.
So much of a contrast from.
Yeah, definitely big contrast, because because the first one was more almost like hip hop dance club related, whereas Jesus was more toned and
subliminal type.
Yeah. But though it was very contradictory, because 2 songs that stick out.